Hi, my name's Daddy, and I play Clash of Clans sometimes. Well, I've actually played Clash of Clans now, on and off, you know, on and off since, gosh, when is it now? I think it was August the 2nd, 2012. I feel like an old man. In fact, I look like an old man, but that's what it is. That's the way it is. I can't change that. But I've been playing for a long time, and I threatened to you guys to do a daddy rant. But this is more of a daddy reminisce, really. I wanted to take you guys back to those days when I joined, and quite a few of you, I'm sure, were starting around that time in 2012. But I wanted to talk about stuff that is from the really early days. Things like the waterfall, this fabled waterfall. Now, the size of the game expanded. I think it was, the size of the game expanded on the 27th of October when the Town Hall 9 came in. They actually added more buildings and stuff, and they needed to contract it. So there's a waterfall that existed before that, and they had to take it away. And everybody loves that waterfall. But, it did exist, I can promise you that. So, listen, let's go back a little bit. So I joined on, I think it was the 2nd of August 2012, which was the worldwide release date. But that wasn't the first day that the game was out. The game was actually out since April in Canada. So gaming companies release their products, they test their products in places like Canada and Australia, which is very similar to America and England and Europe, but it doesn't have quite as many people. So when I joined, there was lots of people there with lots of strange sounding names like Bombay Canada and North 44, and they had these Canadian sort of names, and it was because they'd all joined and been playing furiously. What they've been doing, because there was a bug in the single player game, so they were farming the single player match. And there was a lot more loot actually in those days. I think you used to get 2 million of gold and 2 million elixir from Sherbet Towers. So all they were doing was just doing Sherbet Towers again and again and again. It just kept on refreshing loot. So they all had these skull walls, and you look up and you think, oh my God, I can never get there. But you actually work it out, it costs probably about £400 to max out your base in an iPhone game. Well, how things have changed now, I think it's about 15,000 now to max out your base, including heroes. So the Town Hall 8 was the maximum level of Town Hall that we had. There were no official forums. There was a clashofclans.ca web, well, it's kind of a forum that was sponsored. It was an independently done forum that was kind of had some official support from Clash of Clans. And anyway, so it came out on August the 2nd, and then we had a series of really quick updates from. Remember, Town Hall 8 was all what we had, and I joined and I figured, we all figured that balloons were the best way to raid. So you just dump a bunch of balloons and go make a cup of tea, and then just maybe drop a couple of archers at the end, just to sort of pick off. I mean, the highest level player in the game, I think the top three that I can remember, there was Trev 5-star 5, there was KJD. KJD still playing, is in Bombay, Canada, and there was a guy called the Vassal, and they all stuck there because you could have a shield for as long as you liked. And it wasn't until the 30th of August that they actually changed that, where they actually added a cooldown to the shields. So all they would do is they just get up to the top and they just keep buying shields, which is really, really silly. In the early days, the P.E.K.K.A.s were affected by the spring traps as well, so you'd lose a whole P.E.K.K.A. just with one spring trap, which really, really sucked. But at the time, you could raid any base and you'd still get a flat level of loot. And that continued, I think, until 15th of October, because they had two updates in October. One was on the 15th and one was on the 27th. The 15th was kind of a balancing to stop because farming started to happen, right? People started dropping down in cups, and someone with a Town Hall 8, which was the max, would go and raid a Town Hall 4 and get 100,000 gold. And people just beating up on the little guys. They had no chance of defense. So people at that point started to, Supercell recognised that, and they changed it. Of course, during that time, there was weird stuff going on. The game had only just kind of started, so there were bugs, and there was a thing called a revenge loop, and there was this guy called the Numbers Guy, and he was not maxed out, but he was just like way ahead. I mean, he pulled ahead in October. I think even before Town Hall 9 came out, he just pulled away. And what he was doing is he had two accounts, and he was just going through a revenge loop. So he would attack himself, then he would revenge himself, and he'd attack himself and revenge himself. And Supercell had to, I think they stopped, so you could only revenge yourself once as a maximum. and that kind of stopped that. So we had no moderation whatsoever on global chat. So you just swear as much as you like, and it would never get stopped. You couldn't report anybody. But of course, on the 27th of October came Channel 9, and that was massive because the crossbows came out, and it was just then it just killed the balloon attack dead. You couldn't. So we had to kind of think of different ways. I mean, clearly defense was stronger. And Pekkas I think around about that time, Pekkas started to become really, really, really popular. Spells happened in November. That's when the spells came out in November. And they had this Santa spell. I think actually at the start it was Wizard Towers and... Sorry, they had Lightning and Rage. That's what they had, Lightning and Rage. I don't think they had a heal. They may have had heal. But the Santa spell came out. And it took 24 hours to build. Spells were something that people really rarely used. But... yeah, so this came out. It took 24 hours to build, and there was a kind of a bug in it that you could attack a clan castle with 3 Santa spells, and you could take out the entire clan castle and all the clan castle troops inside it. So people just bombarded the clan castle, then off they go. But troops at that time, defending clan castle troops, could not go through walls. So you'd have to build patterns in your base to allow the troops out. So if you're going to get attacked from the south, you put little squares, little spaces. And of course, your troops weren't affected by spring traps, so you'd put spring traps in the spaces inside the walls, so that when the attacking troops came in, they would go through, they would get sprung. But I can't remember exactly when, but I think it was around about then when replays started to come in. Because it was impossible to know where somebody was attacking you from before, because in fact you couldn't share a replay, you couldn't even look at a replay yourself. You had to actually look at the tombstones to see where there's lots of tombstones. Great, they came from the right. Don't know how they attacked me, but that they attacked me from the right or the left or upside or down. So when replays came in, I think that was probably the one thing that changed it most for people, when they could actually see how they were attacked. Because prior to that, the big clans, they had these like secrets. They won't share with anybody outside the clan how they attack someone, because nobody else would know. It's just being attacked. It came from the north. They don't know how they attacked me. So that was kind of really big. And then what did we have? We had Dark Elixir. It came out in January. Dark Elixir came out in January. And we had Heroes. Heroes came out, and I think the Barbarian King and the Archer Queen came out in January, yeah. So right about January the 10th, the Barbarian King and the Archer Queen came out, but there weren't any Dark Troops at that time. It was just basically the heroes. But the P.E.K.K.A. also started to suffer extra damage, because it's always like when they bring out a troop and then it becomes really strong, and then they bring out another troop and they nerf it, and then they bring out another troop and it becomes really strong at the start. Like Witch was like that as well. You used to be able to just bombard witches at a base and defeat any base. But anyway, so yeah, the P.E.K.K.A. they put double damage on in January. Yeah, in March 2013 we had a massive update. We had Minions, Hog Riders and Valkyries came out with a new Dark Barracks. That was really big, because then really you started to see balloons and minions coming back in again. But it took us a while to figure that out. But the Wallbreaker AI, because all the bases at the time, Wallbreakers was very effective, but all the bases were spiky when we were building bases, because the Wallbreakers would go to the nearest wall, irrespective of what's behind it or what the shape is. They would just attack the wall. So we would just put lots of spikes all over our base, so that the Wallbreakers would just be attracted to the end of the spike. What they did is they changed it to how it is now, so that it would attack a building behind a wall, but attack the wall to get through to the building, which is how it is now. Because if you don't have a building behind a wall piece, it'll go to the other wall piece. But no, there wasn't any splash damage, but they doubled the size of the Wallbreakers. So it's funny, because there's old 240 Wallbreaker videos that I've got. Just it's like, you can't do that, Daddy. It's impossible. Is that what it was then? So yeah, the Hog Riders, Minions, and Valkyries came out, but there were a lot of tweaking going on after that, because the troops build time was too long. I think it's too expensive. And of course, the Hidden Teslas came out. The Teslas came out in October in 2012. But yeah, anyway, so they started to tweak stuff down, and then what do we have? The leagues in April 2013. Leagues in April 2013, and then we had the Inferno Tower and Town Hall 10 came out in May 2013. So we had really quite big updates really within about 9 months of each other. The Dark Troops came out, the Heroes came out, Town Hall 9 came out, Town Hall 10 came out, and then Town Hall 10, of course, came out with the Inferno Tower. Now, by that time, we're all farming. But there's still a few people that were cup chasing, but we'd broken off Bombay Canada. We split Bombay Canada into two. There was the trophy people, and then there was myself and 6 clans that formed Sky Clan, and we were just farming. So we were holding off going to Town Hall 10 for about 6 months, most of us, because of the loot penalty. It was just really bad. Town Hall 10 is where you go if you're a cup chaser. It really wasn't if you wanted to farm. But the Inferno came out. That was really, really cool. Then in June 2013, we had the freeze spell, which was, which kind of was the start of when we started to see people doing go wipe attacks. I think I don't remember people using go wipes much more than that. In the summer of 2013, in July, they came out the Witch, which was just amazing. I still think it's the best animation of any of the troops really, where the skeletons get summoned out. We had a player profile in August 2013. So this hasn't really ended up as being telling you an awful lot of secret stuff. But I've quite enjoyed it. And I hope you have too. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you for supporting me. And I tell you what, if you guys can remember anything that is not in the game right now, pop it in the comments. It'd be great to read it. Okay, take care. Bye for now.
I remember the snow from time so long ago, all stacked in piles that went for miles in the air. I climb right up to the top